All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to game number, well, a game between Jens and Demu or DeMusliM here on Concealed Hill. Jens spawning as the blue Night Elf player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, DeMusliM spawning as the pink human on the top right. Just going to go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark of this game and really dive right into it. Take a look at the heroes. It is going to be an Archmage going up against a Keeper of the Grove. No real big surprise there as, well, we get to that 2-minute mark and going to see that Keeper of the Grove pop on out, get some experience, picks up a Gloves of Haste, and perhaps, well, allowing that Ancient of War to live up to its name, take down these creeps, and, well, have that Keeper of the Grove continue to mosey on over. Meanwhile, well, we did see an ensnare onto this footman right here, trying to clear out this creep camp now. Water Elemental is dropped. Wisp now trying to make its way over. Could get detonation. That is always a problem. And if the detonation does go down, detonation does go down there onto these units. As we're looking at a detonation there, there's level 2 onto the Keeper of the Grove now. Archmage does drop a second Water Elemental, wants to get to level 2. And, well, how is this going to go down? A lot of damage going to go on to the Footman. Footman gets taken down. Scroll of the Beast picked up not the item he was really looking for, but he could try and do a timing attack with that bonus damage early on. Now, Keeper of the Grove being forced to retreat back here. Perhaps we're going to see some damage onto some of these tree ends, get a little bit of additional experience, and perhaps try and get to level 3 quickly. Keeper of the Grove already sitting at level 2. It looks like one of those peasants are going to get taken down. There it goes. No deny whatsoever as, well, Jen's now trying to retreat back again. Archers, Militia, Footmen, both sides continuing to fight. We're going to see a little bit more damage there. There goes a tree ant. That is going to get denied. More attacks underway. That's going to get denied as well. Beautifully played by Jen so far over Demu, as Demu now trying to retreat back and perhaps clear out another creep camp while he still has a water elemental. This is key here. Well, Jens is going to make this very uncomfortable for Demu as Demu trying to retreat back again. We're going to see a low hit point. I believe that was a Footman. Yeah, Footman getting taken out. Archmage is now in some serious trouble, down to 175 hit points. Maybe forced to retreat back off to the Fountain of Health in order to heal, as Jen's taking a very commanding early advantage, being able to pressure down, take down another Footman again. Now, Archmage will have time to heal back up. Keeper of the Grove is retreating all the way back home. There is 3 Moonwells back at home. Not very many, but perhaps Jens will be able to construct a little bit more in just a little bit. And how is this going to be unfolding next? All right, Archmage. Nope, excuse me, Archer. Already healed up here. Archmage trying to retreat all the way back around. You can see one full moon, or nearly one full moonwell. 2/3 of the full moonwell, as Militia now clearing up this giant sea turtle creep camp off to the north. That little bit of bonus experience going to be given to that Archmage there, who really wants to get to level 3. Jens not opting not to try and figure out where his opponent is any longer. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and try to get to level 3 himself by clearing out some of these creep camps. Forest Troll Trapper, well, you can see that inner fire and those additional heals, how much of a difference it makes, in addition to that armor of that medium armor type taking reduced damage from those archers. It felt like it could just take damage for days. Archmage about to get to level 3 as well, trying to clear out this green creep camp. Should be able to get to level 3. Yep, we will be able to make it there. Pick up a Tome of Strength +2. Adding a little bit more survivability onto that Archmage, who's already up to 625 hit points. Level 2 Water Elementals on the field. Archer, well, Ancient of War, back up to full as the Keeper of the Grove now looking to retreat back. There goes an Entangle onto a Footman. That is level 2 Entangle, so this one Footman could easily get taken down, taking 20 damage per second. There goes another Entangle, and really it's going to come down to who's trying to get the last hit on all of these units. All right, Archer, Footman about to try to get a last final hit onto that Footman right there. It looks like it's going to get taken down. Yes, it will get taken down. Keeper of the Grove now looking to retreat back, perhaps heal back up these Moonwells. Well, one full Moonwell compared, and 2, well, half full Moonwells. Is the Keeper of the Grove going to try to get some of that mana? No, it is not. We are looking at an Ancient of Wonders, getting up an Ancient of Lore, and perhaps the Keeper of the Grove gonna try and hang out at the fountain just outside of combat range. All right, Staff of Teleportation as well. And with that said, the Keeper of the Grove needs to heal, but doesn't want to aggro these creeps. All right, going to stay right there. How much longer does he have? He has about 2 hours in game time as the Ancient of War now absorbing quite a bit of damage again. All right, good use of this Ancient of War to soak up damage while allowing the Demon Hunter to creep. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove using that Fountain of Health very effectively, and now back up to 500 hit points, and will be able to Staff of Teleportation to regroup. Demu looking at this time. All right, going to use an Ogre Lord. Is he going to summon a Water Elemental behind? Yes, he does. And now, well, humans having a way of being able to trap this Ogre Lord out of position. Ogre Lord does have additional armor, no inner fire though, and this is going to get cleaned up there as the Jango of Endurance. All right, Keeper of the Grove. Well, it does get an entangle off here. We could see a Stormbolt onto the Keeper. Demon Hunter trying to retreat back here. Unisoul trying to fall back. There's a Stormbolt onto the Keeper of the Grove. Still has a decent amount of hit points. Demon Hunter going to mana burn the Mountain King. Unit still trying to retreat back. Demon Hunter sitting at level 2. Does have an Invul Potion. Are we going to continue to poke apart some of those archers or some of those Water Elementals? We are, as the Archer now looking to retreat back. All right, there goes another Treant. Archmage with Endurance Aura. Mountain King here going to clean up the rest of this creep camp. And, well, we are at Tier 2 versus, I believe, well, Tier 3. Tree of Eternity already done. Getting Mastery training. Demon or Druid of the Claw is already at Adept training. So that's going to be great for, well, rejuvenation. In order to make the Moonwell mana just that much more efficient. Having a Druid of the Claw constantly regenerating mana from those Moonwells to give rejuvenation to heal, always very efficient ways of using that mana. All right, Keeper of the Grove does pick up an Orb of Venom. Now gonna reach out here. We are clearing out some additional green creep camps. Demon Hunter on the cusp of level 3. Meanwhile, Mountain King at 2.5 right now. Militia going to clear up the remainder of the Null Warding creep camp and perhaps try and set up an expansion. There are enough riflemen out here to go after this Red Drake pretty easily. Wisp gets Storm Bolted and, well, trying to deny that all-important information. Archmage able to attack up, trying to shoot down that Red Drake as well. Red Drake gets taken down. Devotion Aura now on that Mountain King as, well, Mountain King in that frontline spot, a decent amount of armor in order to try and, well, mitigate some of that damage again. Dual level up. Demu at 4 on the Archmage, 3 on the Mountain King. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter is at level 3, and the Keeper of the Grove may be able to get to level 4 as well off of this creep camp. Just needs a little bit more. Oh! What was that? No Staff of Preservation, losing a Druid of the Claw to creeps. That was a major setback. I don't believe Jen's plan was to do that at all, as the Priestess of the Moon also now has on the battlefield with True Shot Aura. All right. Are we actually going to see mass archers? Okay, so we see a decent number of archers out here onto the battlefield. They do have the upgraded archer damage, 20 to 22 damage. At 0 upgrades, so that's in fact really high. There's a Mana Burn Stormbolt onto the Mountain King, an Orb of Venom, and now here we go. Both sides trying to engage. There's a couple of Dispels as well. Demon Hunter could be in a world of hurt again. Does have a rejuvenation, and now we're looking at the Priest trying to retreat back. Priest is going to get taken down. Archers dealing great piercing damage. There's a Roar as well. The Archer's at +7 damage. That's essentially 3.5 in terms of upgrades, as well, they're slowly getting picked apart as well. Archmage continuing the fight. Demon Hunter seems to be okay, at least for now. Another Rifleman should get taken down. There's another Mana Burn. What is going on here? That Rifleman finally getting killed off there, as another Druid of the Claw could get taken down. No Staff of Preservation, so this Druid of the Claw gets taken down as well. Losing multiple Druids of the Claw. This is, a bad position to be in. There goes the Priestess of the Moon, getting a double kill on 2 Riflemen right there. And now at level 2, going to perhaps throw up an Owl Scout to follow the Archmage around. Expansion here. already fully operational. Gold is already being mined and has been mined for quite some time. Well, nearly 800 gold already pulled from there. Meanwhile, Druid of the Claw getting trained up here. Priestess of the Moon also picking up an orb of well, no, sorry. Yeah, orb of venom on the Priestess of the Moon. That didn't update quickly enough. So you're going to see some more damage over time as well. Also, Staff of Preservation on that Keeper of the Grove. That is incredibly important. Keeping that Staff of Preservation on that Keeper of the Grove there. We're going to see some big damage. True Shot Aura, Roar, and now in comes some damage here again. All right, Treant gonna, or excuse me, Arcane Tower gonna take quite a bit. Arcane Tower trying to feed back that Keeper of the Grove. This is all gonna get cleaned up here in a matter of seconds. And the units are still trying to fall back. Owl Scout is here, and here we are. Archmage trying to lead the charge here, but has to be careful. Demon Hunter perhaps going to try Mana Burn. No Mana Burn. Level 4 now on the Demon Hunter. Wants the Mana Burn down a target. What is he going to go after? And the Sorceress gets cleaned up easily. All right, are we going to see a Mana Burn? There's a Mana Burn. There's a Stormbolt. The Mana Burn perhaps just a little bit late, as the Stormbolt's still able to go down. And now we're looking at a couple of Riflemen getting cleaned up as well. All right, going after some of those Sorceress. Keeper of the Grove had a little bit of mana, but now has to be careful. Low hit point Druids of the Claw. You do not want to feed mana, or excuse me, experience to your opponent. And that, wow, down to 12 hit points in order to get away. Meanwhile, this one, Druid of the Claw, down to 36, down to 3 hit points. 2 Druids of the Claw, pretty much sub 20 hit points, ends up staying alive. Beautifully done. We're going to see more rejuvenations used across the board, across all of those heroes. Great mana efficiency overall as the units head back off to the north. Archmage is at 4. Mountain King nearly at level 4. Entangling of the gold mine now happening. But, well, plenty of gold has been mined out. In fact, well, too many peasants on this gold mine at this time. Perhaps 2, maybe even 3 could get pulled off to get a little bit of lumber if Demu actually needed more lumber. All right, we have transitioned into Dryads. I don't see any more archers being trained up. So it is turning into Dryad Bears, which is a little bit more common for late game. Remember though, archers do have better range if they have that range upgrade 700, which is important at trying to poke down the backline casters from a safe distance. Dryads, however, are magic immune and do also have access to abolish magic, shutting down or being able to shut down those shut down those water elementals. Also very effective indeed. Goblin Zeppelin wandering around here. Demon Hunter coming around the other side. What is going to happen? Are we going to see a mana burn? Oh, well, what is going on here? Demon Hunter, is he going to try and invul potion? There's a mana burn. It gets bashed. There's an invul potion. He could try and Staff of Teleportation inbound into the base here to try and shut things down, as the Goblin Zeppelin was able to elevator units into the base. So this is a distractionary technique. Scroll of Town Portal now outbound here, as the Keeper of the Grove does not have a Scroll of Town Portal. Archmage has been able to push its way through inside here. Archmage could find himself in trouble. Water Elemental going to get easily cleaned up here, as there's a Staff of Teleportation inbound for the Demon Hunter. All right, Druid of the Archmage going to be forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. Dryads could get focused down. There's level 5 now on the Archmage. Archmage going to teleport to a different spot, try to get healed back up, down to 256 hit points, still taking quite a bit of damage. There's a Staff of Preservation for the save, as the Demon Hunter, well, trying to finish off the Archmage. Archmage, Scroll of Healing, still surviving just a little bit as the Demon Hunter gets taken down. All right, long deranged fight here. Are we going to see, yes, Entangle, and there's going to be a level 5 Archmage taken out as well. Priestess of the Moon going to get taken out, and the Keeper of the Grove is now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now, normally Jens should be able to break free from this spot. He needs a little bit of mana in order to summon up some treants in order to break out of here. Mountain King, however, is nearby and is going to continue to poke here. Jens is going to lose all 3 of his heroes. This is going to be a very big deal indeed. There's another bash taking it down. And all 3 Night Elf heroes have been lost. Demon Hunter, Priestess of the Keeper of the Grove, resurrected at the tavern, Priestess of the Moon, and the Mountain King already halfway to level 6 now as the Archmage and Demu looking to try and put pressure on his opponent. All right, expansion off to the north, still mining gold. There is some mining happening over here, and well, timing is going to be key. But we have enough priest here as well. We do have enough priest to keep that Archmage alive and well. Sorceresses need to be careful. What are the riflemen trying to do? Trying to shoot the broadside of the Altar of Elders and take it down. All right, Keeper of the Grove summons up a whole bunch of treants. Keeper of the Grove, well, going to be able to clean up much of the mining happening here. Demon Hunter going to, well, not get resurrected. Altar of Elders is lost. And now Demu is just putting in pressure into the main base with this standing army. 60 over 86. This is a massive army causing a lot of problems here as the Tree of Eternity, well, can absorb quite a bit of damage. Treants. This entire expansion is going to be lost. Demon Hunter back on the other side here, looking to break down this expansion. And Demu did rebuild or build a farm here to stop the Demon Hunter and the Keeper of the Grove from being able to get inside. Meanwhile, these treants, are they going to be able to finish off? Yes. They should be able to finish off this town hall here as the Tree of Eternity was taken down as well. All right, so Tree of Eternity is lost. That may be the only mountain, or these two may be the only two mountain giants you see, as the Goblin Shredder taking quite a bit of damage and perhaps needs to attack as well. All right, this could turn into a really strange game. 49 over 70 supply. More units need to be trained up as the mountain giant is absorbing quite a bit. There's Goblin Shredder trying to retreat back. All right, Demon Hunter, Keeper of the Grove, looking to finish off this keep here. And we are now in a base race scenario. After Jens had lost all 3 of his heroes, now opting to go for a base race scenario instead, as an Altar of Elders being built in the middle of the map to try and get some resurrection. Goblin Sappers from Jens as well. So Jens should be able to take down many of these buildings here. If he's able to like detonate right here with one of them, multiple buildings will be lost. You do not want... Ooh! I was about to say, what you cannot allow happen, Jens, is you cannot have one Goblin Sapper accidentally kill your other Goblin Sapper. And that's exactly what happened there. That if he had done these buildings here, he would have gotten additional splash damage, hit more buildings, and he needed to separate them, and that just did not happen. All right, a little bit of a major setback. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove now low on mana, not able to summon any additional treants. The treants may not look like it, but they are the main damage dealer to these buildings, as hero damage is not that effective. All right, so we're looking at the barracks now getting pummeled down here, and a new Tree of Life off to the north. All right, expansion down to the southern side has been cleaned up. 48 supply over 42 compared to 26. Goblin Sapper right there. Yeah, get away. Don't allow yourself to just lose a whole bunch of buildings or lose a Goblin Sapper just because you weren't paying attention. All right, this barracks off to the north looks like it will be okay, at least for now. Keeper of the Grove now trying to retreat back here as the Water Elemental still, well, trying to get in some damage. Are there enough wisps out there on the battlefield? That is the question. Yeah, there are a couple of wisps hidden all across the map. They may be forced to try and entangle this gold mine as the Tree of Life is nearing completion.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right, Stormbolt, Mana Burn, Mountain King already at level 6. No sign of a Priestess of the Moon. Priestess of the Moon really only effective when you have a large army anyways. So that True Shot aura benefiting the entire army in mid to late game scenarios. Or, you know, if the Priestess of the Moon is at level 6, Starfall, always a fun spell. Dryads coming across the army here. This is going to be a very bad day. One round of attack, another round of attacks, nearly taking down one, if not two Dryads. Mountain King with Boots of Speed, well, racing out across the map. There's going to be an Abolish Magic. And, well, Mountain King perhaps looking to get into a good spot. Mountain King trying to, well, give a big surprise here, perhaps onto the Demon Hunter or something. Oh, there's a Mana Burn. There's a Stormbolt. The Stormbolt needed to hit that Demon Hunter earlier, as the Demon Hunter now heads back out. All right, so the Demon Hunter is going to be able to heal back up easily. We are looking at a little bit of mining perhaps off to the north here as the Keeper of the Grove trying to stay alive, and he's able to scroll a town portal back home. All right, this Tree of Life hiding the forest in the trees type of, hiding a tree in the forest, literally trying to stay away as we're looking at a battle still unraging here. Well, there's a mana burn onto the Mountain King. No more Storm Bolts. Dryad. Oh, Goblin Zeppelin. Gonna try. He's gonna try to abolish magic. The slow and then get away. The Goblin Zeppelin down to 390 hit points, but still able to survive. No way of getting sight up onto that high ground. Maybe trying to train up a Goblin Zeppelin of his own. There's the Dryad now back down onto the battlefield as we are looking to entangle this gold mine off here. All right, this Tree of Life is in position to perhaps entangle this gold mine, get a little bit more gold again. There's a Water Elemental once more. And, well, we are going to see a bit of entangling on that gold mine. All right, little bit of gold getting extracted by gens. Not going to be very much. Archmage going to be able to shut down this Tree of Life here with really no problem. Keeper of the Grove making his way off to the north, perhaps going to try and take down the Altar of Kings. Mountain King is invisible to try and, well, lay in wait and have a big surprise and pounce when the time is right. Still anyone's game, 48 over 24 supply. Units getting ready to engage here again. Gold mine nearly ready to mine here. There's a Treant able to drop inside and now go after the blacksmith. Casters making their way over. Are we going to see some Dispel magic in order to stop them? There's one Dispel. There's another Dispel. And the Force of Nature here also going to get taken out. Meanwhile, Stormbolt onto the Keeper of the Grove. There's going to be some more Treants. There's some more damage. Mana burn onto the Mountain King. Keeper of the Grove trying to stay alive as the Treants once more getting dispelled. All right, big deals again. We're going to see a little bit of poking. Gold is now being mined once more by the Night Elf, entangling that gold mine. Dryad's trying to get elevated out and will be able to elevate her out down to 113 hit points, down to 25, down to 11. Demon Hunter is not going to be able to get out easily. Are we going to get the... Oh, that was a Staff of Teleportation. Goblin Zeppelin now, well, down to 11 hit points. The Riflemen, if they shoot that Goblin Zeppelin down and that Zeppelin is over the trees or over water, all heroes will be lost. Or all units inside will be lost, and that is a big loss indeed. Even if it is over ground, they will be dazed for quite a long time, and being dazed and knocked out for that long is not good either. Goblin Laboratory perhaps going to try and train up a new Goblin Zeppelin to going to do a little bit of an exchange here as what is going to go down. All right. Trying to go after some creep camps. Perhaps he's going to try and start building an additional gold mine. There's some more Treants. Here we are. And now going after the barracks once more. However, quick Dispel magic, removing 3 out of the 4. And now the Mountain King still gaining more experience as the Archmage, now shy of level 6. Once we get to mass teleport, humans should be able to just move around the map so efficiently that it doesn't really matter. Water Elementals, well, continuing to try and make a splash here, shut down this Tree of Life. Oh, there is fortified armor on that Tree of Life, so he should be able to well, take quite a bit of a beating and still be okay. And meanwhile, well, Night Elf healing up at the fountains of health in the corners or on the sides of the map, being able to stay alive. All right, Goblin Zeppelin going to go ahead and continue to drop more tree and put in more pressure. Archmage, well, trying to go after the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove taking a little bit of a poke. Units going to try and retreat back again. The Goblin Zeppelin just causing problems, being able to elevator units into a tough spot. There's a Stormbolt onto the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter may try and mana burn the Mountain King. And now Mountain King doesn't have enough. There's going to be an entangle onto the Sorceress. Sorceress could get taken down, trying to run away. It looks like mana burn is going to finish it off. And the Goblin Zeppelin, well, trying to stay overhead and able to, well, retreat back home. Water Elemental going to get taken down here. fairly easily. Goblin Zeppelin perhaps needs to get repaired. Keeper or Druid of the Claw could transform back, drink some Moonwell, and then rejuvenate everyone. That is not going to be the case. Well, a little bit out of order. Needs to get some rejuvenation. Rejuvenation. All right, yeah, could have done that. Could have had more Moonwell juice. All right. Setting up another expansion here on the southern side. 46 supply compared to 25. We're looking at the priest looking to dive on in here. There's not much gold left in this gold mine. And then this Tree of Life will be forced to walk all the way back. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove, also invisible now, gonna make its way across. There's some additional treants, and well, gonna go after building after building. There's multiple barracks. Mountain King is out here onto the battlefield. There's a Stormbolt onto the Demon Hunter, and that's gonna be a little bit of damage going after the buildings. That is gonna be key. Keeper of the Grove needs to move, needs to continue to finish off more units. There's a Goblin Sapper right there. Are we gonna see a Manor Burn onto the Goblin Sapper? Where are those buildings gonna be going? There's a collection of farms off to the north. That could be huge, trying to take them all down right there. And now, well, that was about 1,000 points of damage as additional treants are coming online. All right, those treants going to try and take down all of those buildings again. The priests with that Brilliance Aura and being able to constantly dispel so close. 28 minutes into this game, and still there is about 1,000 or, well, how many hit points are on these buildings now? There's only less than 2,000 hit points on these remaining buildings. And Gens is slowly chipping away in this war of attrition, right? The treants can always pick themselves up and eat a little bit of nature and then regenerate some of those hit points time and time again. Meanwhile, Gens does have this expansion here on the southern side to get a little bit more. Armies, Demu's army is just not mobile enough. Even with mass teleport, he's not able to get everywhere he wants to be. Timing is just of the absolute critical importance. They say there's one worker for Demu, but I don't see that one worker anywhere on the map, so I'm not quite sure about that. As we see an Entangle now go down. All right, Rifleman getting taken out. Mountain King and a Storm Bolt to that Demon Hunter, and now perhaps are we going to see a Mana Burn onto that Demon Hunter going back the other way? There's a little bit of damage. There's a Bash. There's that Mana Burn trying to deny any more Storm Bolts again. All right. Continuing to retreat back, you see a Bash onto the Druid of the Claw. Keeper of the Grove. Staff of Preservation could try and save that unit. Is it going to try and save the unit? Yes, there does go ahead and save the unit. Mountain King does have Boots of Speed, trying to catch up to that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter may be forced to turn back around and Mana Burn, but then the Sorceresses would be able to slow. This is going to be a big key, and now there's the invisibility. Demon Hunter actually juked to the corner and is going to be able to mass teleport back across there. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove could be in a little bit of trouble trying to retreat back down. He's going to take a scroll, or he's going to take a Storm Bolt. Are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal? Yes, we are. But where is he going to teleport to? There's a Mana Burn onto the Archmage. Scroll of Town Portal onto the Keeper of the Grove. Down across here, there is a Druid of the Claw ready to not ready to rejuvenate, as the Keeper of the Grove now going to make its way off to the north. Mountain King perhaps suspecting that the Keeper of the Grove is going to try to run off to the north here and finish off these remaining buildings, as the Demon Hunter may also try to get some more Goblin Sappers. This Tree of Life has been scouted out. That is going to be huge here. Are we going to see some treants come alive? Are we going to see some more Goblin Sappers? We should. There's a Goblin Sapper, and there's a Stormbolt to quickly shut that down. A Goblin Shredder also joining in on the fight. All right, treants going to come alive here. Mass teleport inbound.